7 reasons the emotional abuser accuses you of lying. Narcissists frequently accuse their victims of doing exactly what they're doing or being treated in the way that they've treated you. And you might be left confused, wondering if you're the abuser. You might still be in that place where nothing makes sense and you're wondering what happened, asking questions of yourself like, if only and maybe, and wondering if you'd done things differently, would you be here? These delusional accusations are unfortunately made to sound so convincing in a way that victims of emotional abuse are wondering if they are the abuser. Welcome to the Divorce Sanctuary. I'm Elizabeth, author of Finding Lily and the A to Z of Emotional Abuse. On this channel, I talk about healing from emotional abuse and divorcing emotionally from the abuser. I want to remind you that love should be unconditional and divorcing emotionally is life-changing. I want to help you understand and process what's happening inside you and help you discover the best tools to heal on a deeper level, becoming the best version of yourself. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're returning, welcome back and thank you. And anything that I talk about in this video, you will find links to in the description box below. I just want to remind you this is not a diagnostics tool. I'm not going to say this is for entertainment purposes only because nothing about this behaviour is entertaining. If you do believe you're being manipulated, please reach out to a professional who can help you break away from that toxic relationship and help you set and keep strong boundaries. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to share with you a few techniques that will help you stay out of rumination and ground into your body and help you stop questioning everything. 7 reasons the emotional abuser accuses you of lying. I'm going to run through them one by one. There are probably loads more. And if you've got any to add, please put them in the description box. So they do it to protect themselves because they're insecure. They want to confuse you. They want to manipulate you. They're trying to portray you in a negative light. That's the smear campaigns. They don't like other people thinking badly of them. That's just a few. It can be helpful to understand the patterns and understand the pain that you're experiencing. And that will help you see their lies and their manipulation. You come out of these relationships with more questions than answers. And because of the gaslighting that inevitably took place, you believe you did something wrong. And you go over and over every conversation, you go over your actions, and you're asking yourself if you'd done something differently or said something, you wouldn't be in this place. You have conversations on a daily basis with a person that you're no longer in contact with. And you consider what you would be prepared to do to get back in that relationship in order to keep them and not to feel this way. And if gaslighting didn't turn you crazy, rumination might. One of the reasons they lie is a form of projection. They use smoke and mirrors to confuse you. Projection refers to the unconscious taking unwanted emotions or traits you don't like about yourself and attributing them to someone else. People protect their self-esteem by denying characteristics, impulses, or feelings that they find threatening while seeing those same characteristics in someone else. So, for example, a man who feels insecure about his masculinity will mock other men for acting like women, or a woman who chastises her daughter for interrupting her constantly while she interrupts her daughter. The emotional abuser uses this as a defense mechanism, and based on Freud's initial conceptualization, projection is seeing one's undesirable traits in another while denying them in oneself, which helps an individual defend their ego. Projection defined this way is referred to as defensive or classical projection. For the narcissist or the emotional abuser, projection protects their emotional stability. They then accuse you of lying because they themselves have lied about something that, if revealed, would contradict their false sense or self-hate they have created and triggers all their suppressed self-loathing. The emotional abuser or the narcissist tells you they excel in something to make themselves look better. And it might be that they are a great cook or they're wonderful gardeners, but were you to ask them later to help you when with their zone of genius, they may gaslight you and accuse you of lying or saying that they never told you that, or that you must have got them confused with someone else, as they've never been able to cook or garden. Lying allows them to protect their full sense of self from being compromised. They are too emotionally immature to use a healthy form of emotional regulation. They use lying to confuse. It's common for an emotional abuser or a narcissist to accuse you of lying to try and confuse you. Gaslighting is a manipulation tactic that's frequently used by the emotional abuser to stop you in your tracks, to confuse your thought process. You have the evidence of an affair, but they quickly flip the conversation around and getting you to believe that you have trust issues or that you want them to have an affair. Gaslighting has devastating effects over time, and anyone who has experienced it questions their own sanity and their own perception of reality. It is one of the emotional abuser's favourite tools, and they will use it along with other manipulation tactics to confuse you and get you to question every aspect of your life. Along with other coercive techniques, you question your ability to function as an individual and you become dependent on them. Phrases that you might hear to confuse you are, "I never said that," "I don't know who you've been talking to," "You didn't see me do anything," "That never happened," "Now you're putting words in my mouth," "I think you want me to have an affair," "You're crazy," "Too emotional," "Overreacting." Gaslighting is a pattern of denial of one's reality. One phrase doesn't make you a gaslighter. The abuser will use them as a way of controlling you and getting you to believe that you are the problem, not them or their behavior. And during these relationships, the abusers create self-doubt, guilt, shame, blame shifting. So the victims of narcissistic abuse can't actually be sure what they're experiencing is actually abuse. And these relationships are all about power and control. The abuser needs to be liked to the outside world and seen as charming and generous. And it's only the people in the relationship know who they are behind closed doors. But that doesn't stop you questioning yourself or your sanity. Were they really abusing you? And everything they did and said was an attempt to confuse you. Every word that leaves their lips becomes their truth. So they lie and shift the blame onto you. It was done very slowly and it turns you insane. And you're left wondering if what they say is true. Another tactic is to smear your character. When they feel vulnerable or insecure, they use this at the end of the relationship or even towards the end of the relationship where they're planning their exit. So the definition is to utter slanderous or abusive statements to lower in estimation or importance. As an object, they create a fantasy world around you, and as we are all flawed, you don't live up to their expectations, and therefore it's your fault. Nothing to do with them. They put you on a pedestal and they begin to drain the life out of you and your finances. They accuse you of the thing that they are doing whilst they dance you round the cycle of abuse. When you are no longer fit for purpose and they have their eyes on another prize, they create stories about you and your behaviour and enable their exit to be plausible to those around them. They then work to demote you to a lower position, leaving you confused as to what you did wrong. And that might be your exact thought, wondering how you went from being hero to zero in a heartbeat. The best thing since sliced bread to being declared mouldy and out of date. To your face and behind your back, the abuser makes slanderous and abusive statements. Confused you will be. You're left a shell of your former self, going over the relationship and asking what if and maybe, replaying every situation and wondering if you'd said or done something differently, would you be here? The emotional abuser accuses you of lying to avoid accepting responsibility or being held accountable for their actions. As one of the common traits of an emotional abuser is not taking responsibility. Their desire to be liked causes them to protect their fragile sense of self, which was damaged during their childhood. And the unmet needs of the child meant that they're unable to master critical emotional development. So they accuse you of lying in order to avoid taking this responsibility. If you're at fault, they can't be. There's nothing wrong with them. And once that lie leaves their lips, it becomes their new reality. Narcissists accuse you of lying to portray you in a negative light. They accuse you of lying to bait you. By confronting the emotional abuser, you're contradicting the false self that they've created. And a tool that they love to help them confuse you is blame shifting. So when they sense that you're about to expose them, they become irritated, frantic. Their lack of emotional development is compromised, and everything that they have done to you, they now claim you do to them. So they might use other techniques like word salad, which is designed to confuse you, where they spit out random words and phrases at you. Or circular conversations where you think that you've come to a resolution to a problem, but within a short period of time, they start going over the problem again. They do not have the ability to regulate their emotions. They go from 0 to 100 in a millisecond into a narcissistic rage if anyone challenges them or they perceive a threat. Their fragile self will do anything to protect their ego, projecting their emotions, their insecurities, using others as scapegoats to hide their bad behaviour, gaslighting and triangulating to create jealousy, and any other tool that becomes their favourite in the pursuit of mindfuckery. They lie through fear of not being liked. Their desire to be liked causes them to protect their fragile sense of self, which was damaged during their childhood. The unmet needs of the child meant that they were unable to master critical emotional development. They lie to protect this, and one of their greatest fears is what others think of them. This could be if they are liked, or what they look like, or who they are presenting to the world. They lie to protect themselves from being unmasked. And this will be during the relationship, as the relationship is breaking down, and after the relationship is over. During the idealization stage, they created the image of the person that you were looking for. When you fail to live up to their unrealistic demands, they tell others of your failings, how you perhaps didn't trust them. And these people, their enablers, their flying monkeys, are shocked by the revelations and advise them, yes, of course you should leave the relationship. You can't have foundations without trust. What they fail to mention is their bad behaviour that creates that lack of trust. How they are the ones who've created this jealousy with their triangulation. These lies also act as a cover for them, as to the outside world, they lived a perfect life. So why would they walk away? This is their backup plan. They lie about you in a smear campaign, particularly if you're in a position to unmask them. By creating a distraction, shifting the blame, they create stories about you to ensure that other people won't believe your version of events. They lie to you and about you for the purposes of manipulation. They create scenarios to gain power and control over you. They manipulate your reality through gaslighting. They manipulate your emotions through triangulation. They manipulate your beliefs and isolate you from friends and family. They suck the life out of you and drain you emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Half-truths and withholding information is also lying. You might have found yourself confused as nothing made sense. Research has shown we all lie in one form or another, but this form of lying is more calculated and harming. You might have told a lie to protect someone's feelings, perhaps about what they were wearing or a new hairstyle. Pathological lying is where someone lies to gain control over another person, and this is because relationships are games to them. They use lying as a mask, presenting a false self-image of themselves. They may tell half-truths to cover up cheating, alcoholism, drug use, and sometimes various illegal activities. And they believe these lies themselves. So once those words have passed their lips, they become the new reality. They intentionally withhold information. Challenged or caught out, you might hear, but I didn't lie. No, they didn't verbally lie, but withholding information is also lying. Because of an unhealthy or abusive upbringing, Narcissists or emotional abusers spend their entire lives hiding their vulnerabilities and insecurities behind a falsified identity because they believe that these core aspects of their identity will make others reject or abandon them. And they lie after the relationship is over with their hoovering attempts. So they may claim that they're concerned about you. They might send in their army of flying monkeys to check that you're okay. Or they may contact you themselves claiming that they miss you. They don't. They might miss the attention you gave them or something you did for them. The hoovering lie is really to check how much pain you're in, how much control they still have over you. It isn't usually until the relationship is over that you start to discover this new language of gaslighting, cognitive dissonance, mindfuckery, hoovering, abusive cycles, that you realise this is bigger than just you. However, as the abuser danced you around the cycle of abuse, they were not only stripping you of your self-esteem, your mental and emotional ability to function, or stripping you of your finances, they have deactivated all your crucial learning that you did as a child. The developmental stages that you went through are stripped back, and you're left at the age of a small child to run your life. The emotional abuser will lie. They will manipulate you. They turn everything around, and what they did to you is now what you did to them. They want to hurt you. They want to see you in pain. They need their supply. They'll tell you and anyone who will listen that you're crazy or paranoid. They'll tell you and anyone who will listen that you're too sensitive, that this is all your fault. They made you question yourself in the relationship, and they will continue to do this afterwards. And they'll tell you everyone thinks you're crazy or insecure. Coming out of these relationships, you have more questions than answers. And it's really easy to slip into rumination, which is the process of continuously thinking the same thoughts. And these tend to be sad or dark. Rumination can be dangerous to your mental health. It prolongs your ability to think and process emotions. Ground into your body. Staying out of your head and in your body helps you process what's happened and what is happening to you. Breathing and counting, which is box breathing, helps balance the stress hormones and it calms down your system. And honest conversations will help you heal. Why do you want to reach out to them? Or why would you accept them back? I'll put a link to my course, It Stops Here, It Stops Now, because I teach you in that how to have those honest conversations, and I promise you it's life-changing. If you found the video helpful in some way, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. It really helps get the information further afield. Sending you loads and loads of love.